We saw on Saturday, there's a point where I think it was 8 guys came off the field. You got some younger guys on. I think it's similar, maybe a little bit to what you did against TCU, although I think the offensive line maybe wasn't included in that one. What was the thinking there versus maybe just working those guys in one at a time to get some experience? What do you think those guys gained from it and how that went?
Yeah, just getting live reps. I think we talk about it all the time, but from a experience standpoint, you got to live it. You got to go do it. And so wanted to get those guys involved, and were able to. Felt like that was the right time. Kind of knew exactly what we were going to get to with those guys in the game, and they executed and did what we wanted to get done.
And did you know a specific time you wanted to try to get them in, or is it just the feel of the game at that point?
Yeah, we wanted it to be sooner than later. You look 2 weeks ago, our guys play 102 snaps, whatever it was, and so being able to get some of the young guys in early so that if they are playing later in the game, just to create some freshness. You don't want that to happen late, so you'd rather that happen early, and that was the thought behind it. Yep.
A lot of the defensive line talent so far you faced in the Big 12 has come at the edge. Baylor has a lot of beef up the middle. What kind of different challenges does that present the offensive line?
Yeah, they're really, really stout inside, have played really well. I think for us it's about being really efficient, being really good on first down, finding us in some better third down situations, and staying on the field to create as much stress as we can for them defensively. But they're incredibly stout inside and playing well.
Eli?
On Saturday spoke about the weapons you guys had in the kicking game. And with Michael Turk specifically, I asked Ted about it and what it does for the defense. What does his kicking ability and him being one of the best in the nation at what he does do for you guys on offense?
No, it's a huge deal. I think you saw those guys on Saturday be a huge part of why we were able to have a happy locker room, and played their butt off and did exactly what we needed them to do, flipping the field, scoring points. So just great to see. They've been so steady and so good for us, and will continue to be.
All right, Justin.
Hey, Jeff. Easy thing is to say Dylan's back. That's why the offense is playing better. But, just what else are you seeing out of the unit just as a whole these past few weeks that has really impressed you?
Yeah, I think we've continued to get better week by week up front. We did not execute the way we needed to the other day to stay on the field and to take advantage of some situations where, felt like we could have really gotten out away from them. And to me, that changes the entire game. And instead of it being 14 points and being a war there at the end, you got a chance to get away from them a little bit. It's a credit to Iowa State because that's what they do. They make it incredibly hard on you. You have to make plays down the field and create explosives to get away from them. We weren't able to do that, but again, it's like we talked about after the game, proud of the way we played, not how we played the entire time, but we played with great intent and toughness, and I think that's what's shown up as much as anything.
What did you think of your play of your wide receiver? It didn't seem like it was Marvin's greatest day. Most of the time they're so good, but in this game, what did you just think about it?
We've had a lot of talks, but for Marv, it's just having that short memory because I'm going to have one. I'm going to come back to him, and I know he's going to make those plays, and so that's something for him. Just as he continues to play through this, things happen early on in the game. Shoot, you got to play the next play, and let's go make plays. And we're going to continue to have a ton of confidence in him. I was proud of Jalil. Jalil, 6 touches, 100 yards, had the big touchdown there, but did some really good things. And again, we were not able to make plays down the field on early downs especially, and that was what kept it from us playing even better.
They were defensively. They seemed big up front, not only in the middle, but they play 290 at defensive end too. But overall, what do you see in their secondary and just how they play in that 3-man?
Yeah, they're big, they're long, they've got really good energy about them. They're playing with a ton of toughness right now, so that's what jumps off the tape. We're going to have to go take it. They're not going to give us anything on Saturday afternoon, so that's going to be the plan.
Jeff,
Dylan said, he's not hesitant at all about running the ball whenever he's being asked to do it. But since that hit, have you been hesitant to make that call? And how important is the quarterback run game going to be for balance?
No, I think he's going to do it when it's needed, just to be able to keep people honest. There was a couple of different times in the game where you saw that were, a couple of big conversions, one on a third down, one on a 2nd, where he kept the football and then had a chance for a couple more there in the red zone that we don't execute cleanly that were called runs for him. So he'll do it situationally for us, and he's got a good feel. And then I thought he did a really nice job on a couple of scrambles, being able to keep a couple things alive. Instead of being 2nd and 10 and throwing it away, he's able to go gain 5 yards and 6 yards and keep things alive. So he'll do it as he needs to.
Jeff, you mentioned Jalil just a little bit ago. I wanted to ask you more about him. Just what have you seen from his growth from the first of the season to now, and how have you seen his role kind of evolve and fluctuate in the offense?
Yeah, his understanding of the offense, of what he's being asked to do, that to me is where the greatest growth has been. And then he's playing a lot of football. Again, he hadn't played a ton of ball. He's played a bunch, obviously all year. So that's where you've seen a ton of growth. So he's got great understanding. He's done a really good job working, being the same guy every single day. We talk about that a ton, and excited about where he's going.
You mentioned 100 total yards for him against a defense that's as tough as Iowa State is.
Yeah.
How big is that for him? Is that something that can help him as you go down the stretch of the season?
Yeah, I think so. He'll continue to build on it and creates good momentum for him and for all of us offensively, just to have another weapon. Have had a pretty good understanding of what he's capable of doing, and he's continued to just stack days and get better every week. So excited about where he's at.
Yeah, Jeff, on the deep throws, looked like one kind of went through Marv's hands. A couple were defended, but looked like they might have been overthrown. Do you just rep that? Do you just get better at it by doing it out here in practice? Is that the only way?
Yeah, I think after going back and looking at the tape and really felt it in the game, from a deep shot standpoint, really liked ball placement all day. Had a chance to run under a couple that we didn't, just bodying up the ball in the air, but really did like the ball placement throughout the day. So, again, have talked about it a number of times already here in the last 5 minutes, but not making competitive plays down the field kept the game really close. And they challenge you and they make it hard, but you got to make those plays to get away from guys like that.
In 2019, I think Dylan averaged 15 and a half yards per completion with you guys at UCF. This year he's down to about 13.7, I think. Team is 12.7. How big is that role? How big does that play a role in your offense? The deep ball, the deep throws.
We want to have the ability to create chunk plays. I don't think that's news to anybody at all. We want to be able to do that. So pushing the ball down the field and making those plays is going to be a big part of who we are. We'll continue to play that way while staying patient and taking what people give us. So we want to create great balance, play with tempo, and then, of course, have explosives and take care of the football. So we'll continue to work that and be in a good spot with it.
Defense in the way back.
Coach, I know you were without Javante on Saturday, and Eric and Marcus did the majority of it. Just curious, we saw Eric kind of limp off the field towards the end, too. So behind those three, though, where are you depth-wise? Gavin, Tawi, and I know we haven't really talked at all about Bentavious. I don't know if he's really involved at all. Just curious, the depth behind the top three guys.
Yeah, Gavin and Tawi both went on the trip. Obviously, Javante did not, as you mentioned, but both of those guys have gotten great work, great reps throughout practices and throughout the weeks as we've gotten ready to go play. So feel good about where both those guys are as well.
And back to Eli.
Jeff, in your time at Baylor, you saw OU at a couple different kind of places in terms of where they were. You were there when RG3 had his big game against them, saw them in 13-14, and then saw where they got to in 15-16. What do you remember about those matchups?
Yeah, really good football games, good football teams that it was done on the field. And I think as you look at this Saturday, talked about it a little bit, but they're playing really good defensively. They're playing tough. They're playing physical. And we're going to have to go take it and go earn it.
And
Mason Young, second round.
Jeff, Marcus, what were your kind of evaluations after now having seen his tape from the other day, and what more, I guess, do you need from him moving forward?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being 100% healthy. I mean, we've got to get a healthy version of Marcus for him to be at his best, to give him the best opportunity to go make plays and be who he is. So we're excited about getting him to that point. I don't think we've seen him 100% healthy since really early in the season, so ready to get back to that.
And last one, back to Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Jeff, going back to your time at Baylor, when you got there from until the time you left, what was maybe the biggest element of your growth as a coach that occurred there at Baylor to help make you the coach that you are now?
Yeah, I think probably just from a philosophical standpoint, the tempo piece of it, the spacing piece of it, and the attack mindset. I think those are the things that stand out. That'll be part of who I am for a long, long time.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Perfect. Appreciate it.